everybody, my name is Cheryl. Welcome back to more Pirate Makes. You'll be happy to know if you've been following that my machine is in the shop. Unfortunately, it is still in the shop and I haven't heard back from them. It's been a little over a week, so I hope that isn't a bad sign. Maybe they just haven't gotten around to it yet. But anyway, so yeah, no sewing update, but I did go thrifting and I did try to film it. So I was afraid that I'd be really self-conscious filming in public, and I don't think I had as much of a problem with that as I anticipated I would. However, we weren't aware of this before we went, but our favorite thrift store was having a 50% off sale. So it was packed. I mean, like barely any room to move. And normally when we go in, we would grab like a little shopping basket. And even though we were there before they opened, by the time we got in, there were no baskets left. So I just had my little reusable shopping bag that I always have in my purse. And even that felt in the way. You can see in the film that I stayed quite close to the shelves, and that's because there were always people around me or trying to go behind me. I basically only filmed the craft section of the thrift store because that was my main focus. That's the main focus of this channel. And also, by the time I was done with that, we were done and we were ready to go. Yeah, people were being kind of rude, like loitering in areas where they weren't actually shopping. And so once we were done looking at the main things, we just left. And I normally check the blankets and the sheets, and I forgot to, and I'm really kicking myself because I really want to make up that pattern from my So Lucky jar, and I think that the way to go for that is going to end up being buying a blanket, just because it needs like 6 or 7 yards of fabric, and that's not something you really find at the thrift store. So I'm gonna hand you over to past Cheryl. Just as a warning, I cut out the parts that made me the most nauseous, but if you get really motion sick, you might just want to skip the Thrift With Me section altogether. It is my first time filming. I filmed on my camera. And yeah, I definitely don't know exactly where the camera is looking, so everything's a little off. And I also didn't transition between areas slowly enough. Like I said, I cut out as much as I could. But just be forewarned, it's not the best. It's my first attempt, so I'll get better with time. So this is me thrifting.
So I always start out with the knitting needles because I am still a knitter at heart, even though I don't knit that much anymore. And I also looked at the crochet hooks. I'm really picky about knitting needles because I really only knit with circular needles anymore. But all they had here today was straight needles. I also took a look through the bias binding and the zippers, but nothing really caught my eye. The notion section was always really random at this place. There doesn't seem to be anything they get more or less of, and it must clear out pretty quickly because you never see things like that were there from the last week. And here's just a random pattern. Please excuse my nails, they're pretty knackered. It's been the same quilt patterns the whole time we've been here, though. And I spent a lot of time here looking for cording. I need cording for that pirate shirt and also for the chameleon pattern, but again, nothing really caught my eye. It's mostly ribbon. I do wish I had got this needle case. It's just really pretty. But most of this is pretty random stuff. They do usually have a lot of elastic though, so that's always nice. I would have got this if it did multiple seam allowance sizes, but since it only did a 1/4 inch, I didn't think it would be that useful. And again, I'm just digging through, really hoping to find some cording. it's mostly ribbon. Now this first bin on the left is always kids patterns, and then the next two are mixed, but on this trip it was pretty much all kids patterns, which was really disappointing because I have been, looking to expand my pattern. This shirt I really contemplated. I do wish I'd gotten it. I just really had my mindset on summer clothes and I couldn't see myself wearing that in the summer, but I think it would have been nice to have as an autumn option or winter. There's usually quite a few vintage pieces and then a lot of basics at this store, but they're not often in my size. Like that one. I really like this Vogue. I've never heard of Ultra Easy by Vogue, so I was intrigued. But as you can see, you can't tell what the finished garment measurements are from the back, so I was kind of hesitant about this one. Spent a lot of time looking for those measurements to see if I would fit into that size packet. More kids patterns. This one was really cute, but it is a bust size 31.5, which is a full 10 inches smaller than mine, so I didn't think I could do anything with that pattern. And this pattern I really loved. It's so beautiful. Unfortunately, it was not in my size. It was too big. And I don't really like the idea of having to grade down an entire pattern. Here we go, digging through the fabrics. They keep it vaguely color coordinated, and it was difficult to dig through with just one hand. This one really jumped out at me. I just think that the orange was really pretty, and the stripes felt very nautical. I am trying to stick to warmer colors, so the reds and the oranges really catch my eye. I really thought about this one, but I don't think I'm a bow motif kind of person. Even though it's 3 yards, I could have used it for a mock-up, I guess, but this was so soft. I don't know what kind of fabric it was, but it felt gorgeous. And this was pretty, but the cut was just too small. I don't know how they end up with so many tiny cuts of fabric at this store. This piece really caught my eye. What I tend to do when I'm looking is just stick everything that I'm interested in my bag or my basket, and then when I'm done looking through, I kind of lay it all out and take another look at it. This one was really soft too, but I don't know what I would do with some lime green fabric like that. And this had a nice color, but the texture was really stiff. I'm guessing it was home fabric. Taking a peek at the yarn because there's somebody right next to me who will not move out of the way. But this place pretty much only has acrylic. And that was true today as well. Now we're down looking at the bigger cuts of fabric that they keep on the bottom. And then there's a basket of teeny tiny cuts as well, which I didn't really pay much attention to. And then this, I couldn't for the life of me think of what I would make with it, so I didn't pick it up. It's a lot of fabric, and it's pretty sheer, but it's very soft, and now I know that I could have made a really beautiful nightgown that gave, like, haunted vibes. I think that would have been really cool, and I know I have patterns in my stash that I could have accomplished that with, so I really wish I had picked that one up. There's another cut of that yellow fabric, but I think 2 yards is enough for whatever I end up doing with it, so I did leave that behind. And this fabric was really cute. I like the oceany motifs, but it felt really stiff and like it wouldn't have good recovery. I liked this one too, but for some reason, maybe the cut was too small. I don't know why I didn't stick that in my bag. This one too is so pretty. It's a yard. I think that could have been a cool skirt, but I didn't stick it in my bag. It was really hard at this point to move around because the lady next to me was just having a full conversation about something completely unrelated with whoever she was there with, and they were taking up the entire end of the row, which is why you'll see in a second I'm going to go back up to dig through the bins I've already been through, which isn't a bad thing, but it was just kind of frustrating that they were loitering instead of moving on and allowing other people access.
And then I thought Ava was open since we're growing.
So I'm digging through those same bins again, and I find this cut that says it's silk, which I thought was a cool find. And then digging through kind of the browns again. I think at this point they must have moved. And this was frustrating to edit because right here I pick up this bamboo fabric that's in the center of the screen. I touch it not once, but twice. And just keep that in mind for a little bit later in the video. Yeah, give it a nice stroke. This orange fabric that was at the bottom there, I thought was really cute too, and I didn't notice it when I was digging through. And that orange fabric looks like it has a really fun print. I'm always intrigued by gold fabric. I love gold. I would probably wear only gold all the time if I thought I could get away with it. Here's 5 7/8 yard. I think I was interested in this just because it was such a big cut of fabric, and you don't see that very often. And here I think I'm squished up against somebody again, so sorry about the camera work. And now we're back digging through the fabric. It's kind of cleared out, so there's more room. This is one of my regrets too. I have so many regrets. I wish I had at least put them in my bag to consider later. There's also some really pretty striped fabric underneath that I don't think I gave much thought to. Yeah, that one. I guess I did look at it, but it was tiny. That must have been the issue. And there it is, another cut of that fabric, and I really liked it. I think it would be a really cute pair of Bermuda shorts, but it was only a yard, so I didn't pick it up. Now, of course, we know that there was another cut just above that probably would have made up the difference. And I just really think that would have made a great pair of shorts.
Okay. Hopefully that wasn't too traumatic for you. Darwin's being bad. Now let's see what I got. So some things I regret getting, some things I regret not getting. That's how it goes, right? This has all been washed. New fabric is dirty fabric in my mind. So I've got my notes here too, so I remember the prices. So let's start with the first thing I got, which was this roll of elastic. It says that it's 4 yards of 3.5-inch elastic. It looks on the older side, but it's got good recovery. So I think this is narrower than the elastic used in that coral skirt that I thrifted last time, but I'm hoping that I can use this anyways to fix it. And it was originally $3.50, so half off it was $1.75 for 4 yards of elastic. Pleased with that. I did find one pattern. A lot of the patterns were children's patterns, which is not typical for that store, so that was disappointing. And then they had a couple of patterns that I really liked the look of, but that were just not in my size. So I sadly had to skip them, especially that Mimi G one with the like drapey top. I just thought that was so beautiful, but it was too big. So this is Ultra Easy by Vogue 9188. It's this like slip dress, and then it's got a t-shirt dress underneath. When I was looking at the pattern, they tape up the patterns, and it was taped so that it covered the measurements. So all I knew is that it was sizes 14 through 18. And I was a little nervous that it wouldn't fit, but I bought it anyways. It was $4, so half off. I paid $2 for this. This is a style I've really been interested in lately. I've been kind of getting into like 2000s nostalgia. I graduated high school in 2005, so that was kind of a really influential time in my life, really imprinted in like peak nostalgia era. And I didn't dress in the fashions then because we couldn't really afford it, and I just wore t-shirts and jeans. And but now I am kind of into it. I've been watching like old shows that were filmed around that time, like H2O, Just Add Water. And so yeah, I've been feeling really nostalgic. I think it's really common for people to reach for nostalgia when they're super stressed. And everything about modern America is stressful, and my work is stressful as well. So I've definitely been doing a lot of binge watching TV. Another reason I've been watching these old shows is because I'm trying to let myself have moments where I'm not productive. So I'm usually either working or knitting or sewing. I picked up crochet recently. Like I've always crocheted a little bit, but I'm like crocheting garments now. And I need to also have time where I can just not be productive and not feel guilty about that. So I've been like forcing myself to watch TV shows, and the only ones that can really keep my attention without me needing my knitting are like those old nostalgic shows. So that's that. And I thought this went really well into that sort of Y2K beach, tropical, whatever vibes. So the main dress does have a zipper down the back, and then the t-shirt dress is just made from jersey. And luckily the 18 has a bust 40, waist 32, hip 42, which is pretty in line with my measurements. So the first cut of fabric I found was this gold fabric. It is 44 inches wide and 3 yards, and I think it is beautiful. and it is hemmed. I don't know if they use this as a tablecloth, so there's the selvage edge. And then you can see that they hemmed both sides of the cut sides. And yeah, it's really, really, really pretty. And it's got pretty good drape. So I'm thinking it would be really pretty as one of those tops that, like, you know, does some kind of draping, I think would be gorgeous. So I don't have a pattern like that, but that's kind of what's in my mind. It is also enough that I could make one of those Vogue dresses. I'm not sure if that's what this is destined for, but I mean, hello. It's so pretty. And I think it's gold, so I think it's a pretty warm color. I'm really pleased with this. This is probably my favorite fabric from this haul. Originally $9, I paid $4.50 for it for 3 yards. I think is a good deal. So next is this yellow ice cream fabric. It was originally $6. I paid $3. It is 60 inches wide, and this is 2 yards, so quite a lot of fabric. It is a thin sort of knit with decent stretch and recovery, but not amazing. It feels like a cotton. And I was thinking for this, first of all, this isn't really, this isn't necessarily my style, but I just thought it was so cute. And I thought it would be a cute, like, off the shoulder sweater, but it's kind of thin. I don't think I would wear it in the winter. So now I'm not sure, once I've washed it up, what I'm going to use this for. This one's probably the biggest mystery. I'm not clear what I'm going to make with it. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. With 2 yards, I don't know, maybe I'm going to make some leggings. All my leggings are getting pretty worn out. And these would probably just be worn around the house and to walk the dogs, but I think they'd be pretty cute. I don't know. A pajama top? No clue. Something about the ice cream and the yellow fabric just really called to me, and I just had to bring it home. So next we've got this blue and gold striped fabric. This is 64 inches wide and it's 2 yards. It was originally $6 and I paid $3. You can see that it's kind of see-through, like the holes from the way that it's woven, and it's got quite good stretch and recovery. I gotta admit, when I saw this, I immediately thought maxi dress, even though I don't want to wear a maxi dress. They're so popular, you know, some things just really get under your skin if you like see it often enough. It's also not really my colors, even though there's some gold in it, and yellow and red. Navy blue is not terrible for like warm springs. But I don't know. So this is another one I'm not quite sure about, but honestly, I think it's going to be a maxi dress, and maybe I just wear it to the pool or something. But I think it'll be really comfortable. And it'll allow me to play around with the maxi dress sort of silhouette without, you know, using up fabric that I really like. So I think that's the destiny for that fabric. Okay, so this is the next fabric. It is 44 by 27 inches wide. It was originally $1.50 and I paid 75 cents for it. This is the first cut of fabric I got. I thought it was so pretty, so vibrant. It immediately made me want to make a halter top with it, like with a sweetheart neck. It is smaller a cut than I thought. And also, even after washing it, it feels quite stiff. I think it's a polyester. So I'm not sure it'll breathe well. So this will probably be a mock-up of some kind of sweetheart halter neck. I'm having a hard time finding a pattern that I like. I've been looking. This is the one I was most excited about when I bought it, but it's now, after washing it, tied for like last place. But it was pretty cheap, and I think that it would be quite cute if I find the right pattern. And hopefully, being a halter top, it'll breathe enough without the fabric needing to breathe. You know what I mean? So yeah, not sure about that one, but there it is. So this is 56 inches wide by 1 yard. It's this red, crinkly fabric. It's quite silky, a lot of drape, a little bit of stretch. More stretch on the, that's on grain, a little bit of stretch. This is the cross grain, a little bit more stretch. This was originally $2. I paid $1. It has a really nice feel. It's really pretty, and it reminded me, at least the color, of Ricky off of H2O Just Had Water. She's like, red's her signature color. And I just thought this was really pretty. This might be a halter top and a matching skirt if I can get it out. The halter top I think would look good paired with other things like under a jacket for work. The skirt probably would only get worn with the halter top, but I don't know. I think it's really pretty. It's also got a good drape. It could also be one of those drapey tops, I think. This was definitely, of everything, the most impulsive buy with no plan. When I bought that yellow ice cream fabric, I did think it would be a sweater, but now I think it's too thin. It just reminds me of coral. It reminds me of kelp. The texture, it's really pretty. And the color's definitely warm, but I've been trying to be good because I don't have a lot of room for a stash and only buying fabrics that I know what I'm going to do with. But that's already too many that I don't know what I'm going to do with. So I think I failed. I think I got excited by the sale and feeling really rushed by everybody around me. So this next fabric is 45 inches wide. It's 2 yards. It was originally $6.25. I paid $3.13 for it. It's really pretty. Is it warm? I don't know. It's warm, but is it saturated? I don't think so. This is going to be for sure a mock-up of that Vogue pattern. It's got really nice drape. I do think it's pretty. I think if I threw the right jacket on over top, it would be really, really pretty. Yeah, this one, the reason I bought this is definitely the texture. It feels so nice. I don't really like paisley, to be honest, but I thought it would be good as a mock-up. I'd already grabbed that Vogue pattern by the time I got to the fabrics, and I knew that this was just going to be a mock-up for that. If for some reason it doesn't, it would also make a great lining fabric, I think. It would feel really nice as a lining. And then last but not least, I found a cut of silk, or at least the label said silk. This is 43 inches wide, which is pretty narrow, and it's 6 yards long. It was originally $22, and I paid $11. I searched online, and it suggested to hand wash silk, so I did, and it is quite stiff. I think I'm going to throw it in the washer in a lingerie bag and see if that helps, because right now this texture, can you hear it? It's kind of crunchy. I don't want to wear this. And also the way it is with the border print, I feel like this is a cut of fabric from, like, I don't know, from something where this was like a scarf or part of a wrap. It is pretty. Again, it's got these like kind of paisley motifs that aren't my favorite. I think I got excited. I saw silk and just bought it. but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might make another mock-up of that Vogue dress, but it is pretty sheer. So actually, I'm talking myself out of it. I don't think I'm going to make that Vogue dress. This might end up being lining, but again, the texture is not great, so I'm not sure. I really don't know what I'm going to do with this, especially if it doesn't soften up. It's got decent like movement, but not great drape. Can you see? It doesn't really drape nicely. And because it's so narrow, and it's got the borders on both sides, I'm just not really sure. Yeah, let me know what you think about this one, what I should do. If it's part of a traditional like garment, I might not cut into it at all. It feels disrespectful. So I'm going to do a little bit of research on the motifs. Like a Google image search or something. But yeah, it's a lot of fabric. Yeah, so this one's tied with that orange fabric for most disappointing. So that's all I got from the thrift store. I do have a couple of extra tidbits that I've picked up recently. We did go into Joann's. It's still open for 3 more days at this point. And it was pretty emptied out. We got some cuts of fleece, like the no-sew blankets where you're supposed to cut and tie. Those were on sale too for $9, which is basically 4 cuts of fleece fabric. So we got those, and we're going to use those as dog blankets, basically. I thought it was a good deal. Those have already been washed and put away, so I'm not going to get them out, but they're all dinosaur themed. And what also surprised me is that they did still have some interfacing. I got this 5-yard cut of lightweight interfacing for like, I don't know, $4. So that's good. I don't have any interfacing, so that is great. And then I also got this roll of heavy fusible interfacing, and this was $5. So I'm hoping this is enough to make up a bag. So I've already got that bag cut out. I'll insert the picture and the name. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm excited to try to finish that. So the last thing I picked up was this Butterick 6663. I've had my eye on it for a while. It's out of print, so you can't get it on simplicity.com. But I did see it on Amazon, so I've been watching it. Originally, the seller had 10 copies of the pattern, and then I noticed that they had one, so I pulled the trigger. I think it was like $10. It's just really beautiful, like tunic type top. I just really love the way it goes higher on the sides. I'm even tempted to shorten it so that it comes up even higher on the sides. I think that would be really pretty. And it's got a ton of sleeve options as well. I'll definitely go for one of the lower necklines. Not the high neck, but maybe sleeveless, but with a lower neckline, like the V-neck. Anyways, that's it. One more thing. So this is the top I'm wearing today is one that I knitted myself, and I want to ask your opinion. Okay, I knitted it last year. It was really fun to knit, so I've got a lot of good like emotional feelings towards it. I think that it's really pretty, the pattern, but it's clearly too big, like significantly too big. And I want to know what you think I should do. So it's got this little eyelet section just above the bottom. Should I run a ribbon through here and try to cinch it in? Should I unpick this ribbing and knit it on a smaller size needle, probably 2 or 3 down because it's got so much extra fabric? Or should I unpick it and reknit it in a smaller size? Do you hate it? You think the color's horrible? I should throw it in the trash, or I actually give it away to the thrift store. I guess that's the other option, is to not wear it anymore. Cropped isn't really that flattering on me, even though I do like to wear it. So if I knit it in a smaller size, I could potentially extend the rib section so it was longer. But this is a like cotton acrylic blend, and if you can see, it's already kind of getting a halo that it didn't have before. I'm not sure how it would stand up to being unraveled and reknit. Yeah. So those are my questions for you today. What should I do with this sweater top? What should I do with this silk? And what should I do with the yellow ice cream fabric? And how nauseating was my filming? Let me know that too. So yeah, that's it for me. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time.